this meeting invite popped up, and it got me looking at all of my wraps for the year, and one specifically, my Nintendo one. So my Nintendo Switch app gave me a Wrapped. I did not play the Switch much this year, but according to my Wrapped, I played over 700 hours of Minecraft,
What?
which was my children's.
Uh-huh.
Everything has a Wrapped now. There's an Uber Eats Wrapped, which is embarrassing for some people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's
Turns
funny.
out you really love eating this stuff.
Yeah, it's like you spent $3,000 on pizza. It's like that. Thank you for that. Did
Yep.
not need to know that.
Is that a hypothetical example you came up with, or?
Yeah, totally hypothetical.
Oh yeah,
Hypothetical.
weird. Oh my goodness. Well, I've gathered you today as our virtual fellowship of the DevRel to talk about the year 2025 in retrospect. This, if you are not familiar, is Workday Dev Talk, where it's a podcast by developers for Workday developers. My name is Nick Moores. I'm joined by the fabulous Tony Gilfillan, Shreya Dandan, E.E. Jones. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful. How are you doing, Nick?
Amazing.
I'm doing great. I've got some more caffeine going. We are not sponsored, but these Celsius beverages are keeping me alive at this point. So
I had to stop buying the
Celsius.
Costco pack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I
go
only
too
drink one of the
fast.
flavors in that pack anyway.
Which one?
So, peach vibe. And fun fact, Ryan Basilio loves it as well. So if you want to bond with him or give him something nice at DEF CON, that's what I would
Very
recommend you do.
Georgia of you.
Yes, very Georgia. No comment there. I've heard Georgia's lovely this time of year. Fabulous place to live and work. So, folks, what I have wanted to do for so long is have this favorite feature of the year poll. We put one out on the forum. We'll have it in the show notes. And we asked our community in a random order. We did not prompt them, bribe them, anything. What was the feature that had the biggest impact for you? What was your favorite? People like in the comments were like, oh no, I wish I could pick like so many. But we had them pick one. And we had a very particular ranking. So I want you three to have in mind what you would have picked. And what I want to go through and do is starting from like, 10th or so down, be able to discuss the results. What do you guys think?
Wonderful.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So, starting, I believe, 10th down, drum roll please, was model rich text fields. Model rich text fields. So, if you guys don't know what that means, you can now have rich text model component fields in your Extend apps. It was one of those things that you don't realize you need until you realize, man, it'd be really nice if this high visibility app could have formatting or all the other fancy pants rich text features that are in there. What do you guys think about that feature?
This was one of those features that I wish I could have had a multi-select on this voting for, because this was definitely my number 2 or number 3, because especially on the reporting side of things. I don't know if any of these listeners out there have seen my live stream, but I was building a little email digest app that essentially auto-generated an email based on a user's location, and then saved that in a business object to be able to send out on a scheduled date. Well, it's kind of hard to send a formatted email if you can't format it. And this lovely feature actually came out like right as I was getting to the point where I was like, this is a really ugly email.
Oh, no.
I was able to,
Yeah.
actually structure an email in the way that it actually looks pretty. And now you can send it. And obviously you can also leverage this in Workday reporting and stuff too, which is amazing. So love this feature. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it would take an app from like an A- rating to an A+. Give it a little polish.
Yeah, you like when you have, my whole thing with Extend apps, whenever I'm talking like prospects or developers, is really good ones, you shouldn't be able to tell it's not like a delivered Workday app It's just one of those little things that would have been a dead giveaway before. So I'm so
Mhm.
happy that the team was able to make
That
this happen.
was exactly the point that I was gonna make, Nick. I think you hit it right on the head where it's like it like everything. I feel like if you're in that Workday ecosystem, sometimes all of it can seem a little bit monotonous, but having that sort of extra formatting, extra aesthetic change, I
Yeah,
feel like hopefully brings back some sort of like motivation for the user. They get excited about, changing it up and changing up the formatting and all that stuff because that's stuff that makes me happy, you know.
totally, totally. That little polish matters. I mean, like looking at like, oh, you can now have bold, italics, or like lists, ordered lists, numbered lists. There are so many things where that can come in handy. You want to be able to track it in a model component. Super dope. Um, One of those features that I forgot I needed, kind of like Tony was saying, until you realize, like, oh, I really need this. So there was so much cool stuff that came out this year. So for that to get number 10, I think says a lot. Yeah. Any other thoughts on that before we move to the next one?
No.
One more comment on this one is I actually ran into several problems at DevCon for folk. Like we're trying to do something coming out of a model component and they're trying to just display it properly, and then they're having to do a PMD script to add rich text to a field that's coming
Yeah.
from a business object that's not rich text. It's like, oh, this would be so easy if this was just a rich text field.
Yeah.
And now it is.
Ta-da! Isn't that funny? Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like real life business cases do come down to, hey, we need to display XYZ for these users this way. And it's amazing how many pieces you need sometimes to make that work. But yeah, that little bit of polish really makes that experience a lot better.
100%.
That's awesome.
Totally agree.
That was a cool story, Tony. Next up, Prism in dev tenants. Let me just say, this is something that I thought was like a white whale for us for years, years and years and years. Every time we give people Extend and Prism together at the hackathon or DevCon, they make incredible things. Like if you see MVPs like Sandkalp, a team of 2 can win the hackathon just with like insane Prism knowledge and insane Extend knowledge. They just like get the best of both worlds. But like to date, that was really hard to like prove out because there wasn't really a good way to have it in your development tenant. So the Prism team worked really hard to make it so that you could, as a Prism customer, get Prism Analytics on in your dev tenant. And I think in some circumstances, even just be able to enable it in a dev tenant just for evaluation purposes. And it really just like opened the floodgates for like, what samples can we put out? Like, what can we assume you already have when we're building like tutorials and things like that? So this one was kind of a sleeper hit for me, where it just like raises the ceiling so much of what you can do, especially in that like prototype stage. Like I'm trying to prove out this cool use case, and if I have to do it in Impl or above, there's just so much extra friction there.
Yeah, like I'll be the first to admit my Prism knowledge should be greater, but it is a bit lacking, and I sometimes struggle to think of how to use Prism in the best way and how to utilize the existing data you have and how to bring it into Prism and do cool things and have those fancy analytics where, my breadth of Prism knowledge is just not as strong in that particular area as others, but I feel like being able to enable it in dev tenants, gives you that ability to play around with it, being like,
Yeah.
Can we do something really cool with our analytics that maybe the existing product and Prism together can, really build something cool. And now you have the ability to do that, without having to fully on jump in head first and go into production with something. You can, play around with it and proof of concept it. I think that's really the really cool part about, being able to play with that.
Totally.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah.
speed up. I was just going to say it'll speed up development time if you can actually proof of concept it while you can still deploy your app into the same tenant, like the development tenant. I had some really cool use cases with customers wanting to build like custom validation rules, loading those rules into Prism and then using that in an integration even to define certain, rules and situations like, oh, you should end a payroll input with this date if it fits this scenario, which all of that logic was loaded into Prism. And it's if you can proof of concept that in your dev tenant, then it's a lot less of a headache to get that to production and actually prove that it'll work.
That's
So
awesome. Like actually using Prism as like an integration auditor. That's
yeah, it was cool because
So cool.
usually, like if you don't have Prism, it's like, well, you could define these rules and this logic like in an external spreadsheet, but
Mm,
who wants to maintain that? It's like just put it in Prism. It's all in one place. The power of one, as one might say.
yep.
So, and yeah, with DEF CON last year, I feel like a big theme there was how can we intersect our products? What kind of use cases
Yeah.
can you see out of that? And there's so many. With Extend, you can build a better front end. You can use Orchestrate to actually call web services and then use Prism to define logic. I thought that was a really cool use case that I heard about and translatable to other customers as well.
Yeah. Insanely cool. It opens up a lot of financial use cases too. Prism is very heavily used with our financial customers, which makes the story so much easier for us to tell. There were like edge cases that we couldn't handle super well a few years ago with model components that you kind of needed Prism for. So just to make it that much easier to like prove that out, try that out. Like it's one thing for us to say, well, hypothetically, if you had Prism, you could do these 20 steps. But now we can show you much more easily. You can try it much more easily. Yeah, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think it definitely allowed me to be more hands-on with it. As Tony said, like I'm still learning Prism right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it allowed me to be like sort of and to be honest, like when that initially happened, I didn't really know the full Prism capabilities. Um, and so that really allowed me to sort of see, okay, this is exactly what it can do and experiment a lot with it and see what it can be used for. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just, like, for me, I'm as a new grad, I just didn't know what it could be used for. And I feel like I was able to find out through that. So definitely one of my favorite features for sure.
Love it. Love it. And as we like open up the ecosystem soon, having that baseline of things you can do like as a rule, I think is really, really cool. Things you can do in a dev tenant. All right. Next up, drum roll, WQL components in App Builder. Could you guys help translate that to the audience? People are like, what were those words that you just said? And what do they mean? I know why it's cool, but somebody tell me why it's cool.
I'll jump in here. So essentially, before the WQL component, you had to bake in all of your WQL requests into your pages in line. So if you don't know what WQL is, it is a Workday query language, a little play on SQL, but effectively, a SQL-esque way to retrieve data using SQL-like syntax. And then you'd have to put
Mm-hmm.
that into your pages to be able to retrieve data and then use that data later on in your UI. With this fancy new feature, you can actually pull that out of your inline pages and then just reference a query ID and then neatly have it in its own little component that you can reference and build separately and then reuse that component wherever you need it. So pretty neat.
Super neat. I remember Christian used to put script files in just to do the queries, and it works really well. But like, you have to, if you're new, you may not understand like why is this in a script file. Like, it creates some cognitive load of like, but I thought this was an API request, and be like, well, brother, it is. You just need to do it this way. So I really like that they did that. If I remember correctly, too, you now can like specify on the request. Is that right? Someone that's touched it more recently than me that it is WQL, which I think is super handy.
Yep.
Kind of helps clue in future you of like what were you trying to do here.
And the builder as well. So like the Copilot, the Workday Copilot can actually build the components as well. So not only can you create queries using Copilot, you can create components, the reusable components, and not just
Yes.
WQL. You can create GraphQL and as well using Copilot. So WQL is super powerful, but you can create all kinds of different queries, and those can be their own little components. And WQL is just the latest and greatest of those components.
It's come a
Yeah,
long way. I remember when it
hugely.
was released, and I feel like not even every data source supported it at first, and now it's like, a lot of people are using it. It feels more heavily used in Extend than integrations, though, I will say. Um, Extend,
Mm,
that's just my observation, but I do
yeah.
think since it's being improved and it's maturing more, I do think it's being a little bit more used in integrations, but I still think RAS might be taking the cake, especially because we have like RAS components and orchestrate, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe maybe in the future
That's a
WQL
good.
will have its own component and orchestrate.
There you go. That's a good call out because I remember the old times when they were first introducing WQL2 integrations. Because I think for whatever historical reasons, I believe it was exclusive to Extend. So like
Mm-hmm.
some of that is just like learned patterns. And then I remember working with like Guy Langton at the time,
Oh
if
yeah.
anybody knows who I'm talking about,
Oh yeah.
to be to be like, hey, we're gonna
Legend.
be able to use it in integration. So like me, Jeff, and Guy, Jeff Haynes, amazing field readiness architects, plus Nick, we're trying to figure out like how would you use this in integration and trying to sell people on. It's like an on-the-fly RAS request. Like how
Mm-hmm.
dope is that? I mean, it obviously I think has revolutionized Extend apps because you can have like a query built in that just works for everybody. Um, so yeah, I still do hope that it will work or be uptaken more than RAS where appropriate. I mean, once you figure out like, oh, you can like put in calc fields, you can do like all sorts of wild stuff with it. Uh, it's I just don't see it going away anytime soon. People love it. We're finally making it easier to use and to audit in your Extend apps. So I'm really happy about this feature too.
Yeah, it makes portability easier,
Mm-hmm.
reusability, because you don't have the dependency of a custom report necessarily. You're just pulling data from a data source. So
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of benefits there. And especially
totally.
with more of the real-time types of patterns, the quick
Mm-hmm.
hits, WQL is great to use in those types of situations.
Totally, totally. I mean, just quick nerd out moment. Once upon a time, I was responsible for upgrading the Dart tooling,
Oh,
which what does that
same.
even stand for? Delivery assurance, something, something.
Review template,
Thank you.
maybe?
Yes, but specifically the like studio assembly uh, to make that fancier. Tom Ong, who's another legend, has since come in and like totally made it way more awesome and actually stream properly. It had to be audited by Doug Lee, which is like a life event. If you haven't done that yet, highly recommend having to submit code to Doug for him to evaluate. That really, or Paul
Sounds like
Gallus too, had to give me some like how to Excelify stuff advice. If you know those names from altitudes and DevCon's past, like that makes your heart rate go up, but I feel stronger for
Mhm.
it. But yeah, like, but this was because WQL wasn't available. We had to like use what are they called? Like implementation web services to like
Mhm.
instantiate a report, run the report, extract the report stuff. And it's like, that's wild. Like it'd be so much cooler to just ask for it. And that's what WQL lets you do. Now it's even more easy and extend and for everybody. So yeah, we've come a really long way to echo your point.
Mhm. We
Oh
have.
my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay, the next one on the list: extend cards on Workday Home and Hubs. So this one was announced at Rising. Is it last year? If not the year before, I think it was last year. And it's like wild thinking how much has changed since like summer 2024. But I just remember, I mean, Workday has like changed in leaps and bounds, of course. But my like quick 2 cents is that this was the first time when we were like, hey, we need to like get the core Workday UX to be like extensible. We need to punch through on the homepage. And there's like all these ramifications to that. Like, what if you have a slow extend app that's on the homepage for 300,000 workers? Like, that's not a good time, you know? And of course, like we have systems in place, we have guidance in place to help people not do that. But still, we took it super duper seriously. So I remember how much work it took just to get the idea off the ground. So to see it go from that to like Rising demo to finally live has been really, really amazing.
Yeah, this is one of those
Yeah.
ones that just seems super simple, but is incredibly impactful. Like,
Yeah.
it's right in your face, like right when you log
Yeah.
in. Like, it's one of those
Yes.
things that has to work and has to work well.
Yeah. Another anecdote is we have these Express Lab activities that CJ Johnson on the DevRel team and some of our product stakeholders helped to author about how to make these cards. And I had the privilege, and I'm sure more DevRel folks, I'm going to do what I can to get you there. But like I had the privilege of going to help man an event in Japan for folks that often don't speak English as a first language. They've never used these features that at the time were like 2 months old since GA. But just seeing people that had never used it before instantly be able to be like, I created my first Extend app. It's on my homepage. I can see how easy this was to set up. I can sell this like to my leadership for why this is a big deal. It was really, really cool. It's easy to make features that are 10 times harder to set up than that. And so I'm really proud that we did the work to make that one easy to use. So yeah, big kudos on that one.
Yeah, that one seemed like a big deal.
I agree.
There was I feel like some conversation around like extend card versus home card orchestrations.
Yes.
It seems like extend card, to my understanding, is like a more robust version of that. You can do more with it. It connects to your extend app beyond just like connecting to an orchestration to bring a link, expose a link, I guess, on the home page. So
Yeah.
just viewers who have seen both of those card capabilities, I believe the home card is more so like centered around Workday journeys.
Yes.
And so that helps more with navigation, where the extend card is actually creating or giving an extend app more accessibility through the homepage.
Yeah, I feel like
Right.
the journey cards, and they've been renamed, so forgive me, product team. The home
Oh,
card, the
I'm
today
sorry.
card, whatever it is now, they I feel like they walked so that these cards could run. It was this. What was really exciting for me was I was a stakeholder, or like just a guy when the journeys ones came out, and then helping be behind the scenes for this one. We were working with the team that made those cards. So like they had all the lessons learned from that, the things that went well, the things that they would have done differently, and they got to like take all those learnings and pack them into this feature. But yeah, I think you're right on. That these are just much more robust, explicitly tied to an extend app. Really, really cool.
Yep.
I think for me, I was initially, I think, an intern when those like journeys cards came out. And I remember that being like, for me as an intern lens, like I had always seen like extend as its like own separate thing. And then all of a sudden we had this like thing that could link an extend app to the Workday homepage. And that just made me so excited at the time because it felt like the first step to sort of unifying the two things. Like, and now like to see what it's become today, like I'm so glad that I was able to see that because it just makes it such a full circle that now we're here and now it's like on home and hubs and it's very easily like it you can control which apps that you want people to see and have it right on their main page and I just really love that.
Totally. I mean, like, I'll be real. Like, I have been an implementer. I've been a power user. I have helped train power users. And when I was just using Workday as an end user on my iPad, I went no further than my homepage, then a couple different hubs. Like, I like that the question was, how can we just make this simpler for people? I don't want to go hunting for where the thing is. And I work here. This is my job, So I really love this feature as well. Shout out to Himali and the crew that made it happen. Okay, now we're getting into some of the juicy stuff. This one is an example in my mind of good things take time, and it is live errors and autocomplete in App Builder. One of those things that like we've always wanted, and we finally got it done. No shame in my game. Like I know that like our product team, our engineering teams are slaying dragons left and right all day, keeping our customers happy. But this was just such a delighter. I mean, Tony, Shreya, you guys have been an app builder more than me recently. I can't imagine life without it now.
Yeah, talk about a quality of life change. Like this, it just feels like a mature IDE now. Like,
Yes.
if you're in an IDE and you're not seeing squiggly lines, like what are we doing here?
Yeah. No, I like flashback to the computer lab, if you can imagine a noun phrase such as that. And tiny young Nick like trying to make words on page in like the early aughts, late 90s. And I don't know. Whoever came up with squiggly lines, I just feel like it is seared into my brain, my nervous system, that this is how you know you need to edit something. I've helped people at hackathons, I'm sure all of you have, where if we had had those red squigglies, it would have saved them like an hour of, small, frustrating mistake that's wrong. This was a big one for me.
The amount of
Yeah.
semicolons that have ruined my day and my career is uncountable.
Oh my lord. Yeah, there was an internal hack in 2019, 2020, where this was back when function service was a thing for you old timers. And I had a buddy who had been working for 4 hours, and all it took was me walking over. It's not even because it was me. It was just because other human, other eyes be like, oh, you need a semicolon right there. I was like, what? That was it?
Ugh.
Oh, so real. So thank you, product team, for helping this, and the autocomplete too.
Oh,
what's your guys' experience been with that?
I just used this today to modify my AMD. Like, what is that thing for the data providers? There we are.
Yes. Don't make me remember. Oh man. Yeah, we've been shouting into the void on y'all's behalf for years, dear listener. Not the void. I say it in love. But we got so many fish to fry. But I'm just so happy we fried this one.
Yeah, I feel like for live errors, initially not having those red squiggly lines like felt so wrong to me. Like I'm like, wait, so you can't actually tell me what's wrong? Like that was such a heartbreak for
Yeah.
me.
You must
I was
answer
like,
my
how
riddles
could
3.
you?
Yes.
Yeah. And then now having it, it feels right. It feels like the world has restored its order. Like everything's okay now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like in the movie where, like, by the end, it's like, oh, everything is, like, sanguine again.
Yeah.
The birds are chirping, the flowers are falling, Mulan's back home, and everyone's good,
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, I'm with you. Okay. Now I think we are into our top 5. Words are hard, numbers are hard, counting is hard. This one, another gigantic one. App retirement. With 5% of the votes, app retirement, for those that don't know, you can build apps, and then they were just there. But now, you can build apps, and if you don't need them, I'll go bye-bye. And you don't need to worry about it anymore. And it's a big deal for those who are having to count apps in production. I know that this took a lot of work to make happen correctly, as someone who's a little close to how the sausage is made, but this was another huge one. Huge one.
Yeah, this has been a big ask for a long, long time. I mean, I know a lot of folks, with that 10 app count, are severely, affected. But just like from a cleanup perspective, being able to move things out of your purview that you don't want to see is huge.
Yeah.
Like with any, development environment, like you don't want to see things that you don't want to see.
Yeah, run an internal training, and then you have 100 copies of the same app that look the same. This is nice. This is really,
Keeps
really
things
nice.
clean.
This is one of those, like, this is why DevRel is awesome, because we live this alongside you, dear developer, and our lives are better. We are so happy to help your lives be better. Everyone can just be happier now that this is here. And I think given the things we haven't even talked about yet, the fact that this clocked in at 5% of all the votes is pretty wild. We had 112 voters, which is actually pretty strong for a poll that we just threw out onto the forum. Okay. Now we're getting into the good stuff, and just to spoil it slightly, the top 4 are a clean sweep for Orchestrate. Like, all podium spots, all finalists, All the final
Love it.
four are orchestrate. So EE, I hope you've got your water and you are ready to go. This is a BFD, as the people say. So coming in at number 4 with 6% of the votes, orchestrate 48-hour runtime. EE, set the stage for us. Why is this a big deal?
This is a huge deal because, as you know, if you are an orchestration developer, the runtime has been something that's been a challenge ever since this has come out. You know, with Studio, I think the hard limit is 2 hours, which is more than 20 minutes, which is what Orchestrate was before. So with 48-hour runtime, it just expands the breadth of what Orchestrate is going to be able to cover as far as integration patterns go. And 48 hours is just like a gross overestimation of what we actually would expect integrations to be running between, you know, like we wouldn't really expect orchestrations to be running for that long, but we want to give you the confidence that you can build an integration that may need to run long, and it can handle up to 48 hours of it. So yeah, huge runtime improvements coming even more down the pike this year. So really excited to see all of those unveil as well. But this is the beginning of many updates. So really happy about that. That was honestly one of the biggest complaints I feel like I've heard about Orchestrate, or reasons why people haven't been using it, is runtime limitations. So super excited about that. Shout out to Joe O'Carroll. Sorry.
No, you're good. Keep me honest here. And if you use the new trigger integration component, it actually resets that timer, correct?
Yes, that is my understanding.
Which
and that is a new,
wild too.
yeah, new feature. Just more. That's another good point to bring up, Tony, because that just is another thing that came out to help with these higher volume, more data intensive patterns. You know, you can break up large batches, trigger other integrations without having to sacrifice that like unified experience in the tenant, because you can trigger other integrations, but in the tenant it's just one integration event. So all notifications from any child integration events, they all bubble up into the main one. So the in-tenant experience,
that's cool,
would reflect as if it's just one integration event, but you can still drill into child events separately too. So
yeah, this one trigger integration barely wasn't in 2025, but that's kind of like a backdoor, the secret ghost fifth entry, I feel like, on the Orchestrate clean sweep. I mean, like, because in my mind, I have built integrations that have, you know, business processes with multiple Fire integration steps, or like accounting period close event, I think is the BP. Wow, going back for financials and like 12 different allocation integrations. So it's just wild thinking that if I'm hearing you right, like you can have the orchestration be the master, and it gets to like kick off all its minions, and it all rolls up correctly. That's like, it helps me appreciate the good things take time. There's a reason this one like had to rock. That's a total change. That's a total paradigm shift that I think folks still need to like reckon with. I was just looking up, like a true nerd, the integration, what's it called? The reference integrations and web service limits, which shout out that this is public and I don't need to be logged in anymore. That's also
nice.
super cool. But yeah, long running integrations. If you know, that used to be my job, to help liaise with the team that published stuff like this. I remember us writing this page, and like 30 hours was the hard stop for anything, like a payroll connector that needs to crunch forever, an EIB that needs to crunch forever. 30 hard stop. So I think that's another interesting way to think about it, is 30 was the end. And so to have orchestrate B48, and for us to kind of wink and say, you can trigger stuff, the timer resets. Why would you not start with orchestrate? So that just really puts that in stark relief for me as well.
100%. Agreed.
Super dope.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's no surprise that Orchestrate took a clean sweep with the way that just the world is these days, like with the agentic world and everyone connecting to APIs and turning stuff into MCP tools and
Yes.
like the APIs are running the world these days. Data is king.
Who run the
Yeah.
world? APIs. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And if I dare to do math live, I think it's about 64% of respondents across those top four. So that means 2/3 of the people all picked Orchestrate, and they all picked the same like four things, which is
Yeah.
also very telling. So huge impact, especially because not everybody has Extend, everybody has Orchestrate. They just need to turn the thing on. Huge, huge, huge,
Yep.
huge impact. Okay, and if you can believe it, even more than Orchestrate 48-hour runtime. At 11%, nearly double import existing orchestrations. Again, EE, hot seat. Why is this awesome?
Put me on the hot seat.
Yes.
Reusability is the top value that I see with orchestration imports. And build a sub orchestration, for example, once and just import it into all of your orchestrations going forward. Like, for example, if you build out a sub orchestration that handles Workday API errors and it logs it to a file, and there's a very, specific way a customer or whoever's reviewing these files to have like a specific format across all integrations, you can just easily import that one sub orchestration into all of your orchestrations, and it'll
So cool.
be consistent across everything. So it helps with reusability. It helps with consistency, and just saves a bunch of time where you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you're building an orchestration. If you've done it once,
good.
I'll do it every other time.
Good. That's amazing. I can hear Chris Humphrey cheering from here. I can hear John Smale cheering from here. It's a good day. It's a good day to be an Orchestrate developer.
100%. Yeah, just a lot of time savings with building it once and reusing. So
yeah, I do stupid things when I have to rebuild something 5 times. It's
Me
not
too.
It's not perfect. It's not 1-to-1. Apparently, those dang not semicolons in this case, but same idea.
yeah,
Yeah. So huge shout out to the product team.
yes.
And then we're not even in the top 2, which is wild, which are also Orchestrate. This one I threw in as a feature, was kind of more like a life event or like, second coming font kind of thing. Orchestrate became generally available in 2025, and I could not be more happy about it.
You're telling me, Nick. This was a long time coming. I
Yeah.
don't know if, listener, if you listen to Nick and I had a podcast around Orchestrate Changing the World,
Yes.
where I went into a lot of detail around my background. But TLDR, I've been working with Orchestrate for 3 years now, which is crazy.
Woo!
So this was a monumental life event for me, for this to go
Yes.
GA back in September. Amazing adoption with our customers. A lot of good comments that we're hearing. I've even seen some great comments on Reddit for those who
That's
are
saying
involved in the
something.
Workday Reddit.
Yes.
Yeah, saying something because it's usually not good out there. So
Yeah. It's rough
So,
out
yeah.
there, people. Yeah.
I have to say I voted for the Orchestrate GA when I participated in the
How dare
survey.
you? I have not
because-
voted, but this would be very tempting for me.
Yeah,
well.
this was a big one. It was a shift of, allowing all of our customers to have that access to our top of the line tooling for integrations. And it's really changing how we're even positioning our integration tools.
Yeah.
This year is going to be very interesting as far as how we recommend customers to use our integration tools.
Yeah.
There may be tools that we don't recommend to use at all anymore. So big revolutionary year coming. All of that fueled by the Orchestrate GA. So, putting a lot of energy into making that the best tool possible for all our customers out there.
Absolutely. The level of investment is wild. I mean, there wouldn't be this many features for people to put on the podium if the Orchestrate team wasn't just going ham and crushing it. I had the honor of, seeing Jonathan Boyne, who like helps lead that team after he got to announce it was GA. I mean, this has been a years-long thing for them. The amount of events they had in production before it was GA, I mean, I can't imagine a more battle-tested tool and runtime in like recent Workday history. In fact, they may be the only folks that can imagine what the other ones were. I remember like E2 migration, which shout out if you know what the heck I'm talking about. Like they have been laser focused on resiliency and making sure that integrations are delightful and awesome and secure and scalable for years. So this is just like such a cool coming out party for them. I could not be more proud to work with them. Super excited for the whole community. And selfishly, Mr. DevRel guy, like now any customer can be on the dev site? What? Like that is huge. And it wouldn't be possible without that. And I know that was a whole work stream in and of itself to make that happen. So yeah, huge shout out to that whole team.
Yeah, such a pivotal moment in integrations. Like, I think Orchestrate's been on top as far as the preferred integration platform for a long time anyway. But like to put this, in everybody's hands, it's like, sorry, studio.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Wild times.
Crazy, monumental time. R2.
I also voted this as my favorite feature of 2025, but I feel like this is completely from an internal standpoint, but not me as a developer, just because, as you said, Nick, this was like a life event for all of us involved. And then I sort of just came in at the end, but like everyone else who was involved for like years on years, like I had seen that from my own eyes. And like this was big for us, and I feel like there was just a lot more internal excitement, and that made me really excited, and that I felt like, so that's why this was my favorite feature, just because of like how excited we were that this was coming out,
Yeah, we will remember like the year that Orchestrate went GA, like the year that Extend went GA. There was a big timeline on the wall at Rising EMEA of like the big things in Workday history. Extend GA was there, but I could totally see Orchestrate GA right there. Of course, some other big stuff happened last year too. But to me, that absolutely deserves the jersey.
Where were you when Orchestrate went GA?
Yeah, I remember exactly where I was.
I know. Yeah, definitely recommend to watch the other podcasts to get more information on that. But that was a great day for integration.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now, if you can believe it, the top spot with 35%, like just for reference, second place had 12, third had 11, and then it goes down to like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So a whopping 35% of people chose Orchestrate debugging. Congratulations! Orchestrate debug went GA. Well, yeah, I guess it did. And totally took the crown, no questions asked. Absolutely cool.
Oh my gosh. This, again, was a long time coming, because even internally, we had consultants using Orchestrate before it was even part of the limited GA. And the first thing I noticed, and everyone around me noticed, was I can't debug. I'm putting store step after store step to log all the stuff that I'm creating, and I'm trying to understand why things are erroring out. It was a pain in the butt pre-Orchestrate debug. That was definitely top complaint. Following that was the runtime, but definitely the debugger. Just to, we're talking about Orchestrate as a tool that speeds up development, but if we don't have a debugger, is it really speeding it up that much? So I do think a debugger is great for speeding up development, but also helping with troubleshooting. The experience is also really clean. Like you can easily tell when there's an error. There's a big red box. Like it's a very, very nice looking UI. I know, big heart hands for that. So yeah, I was so happy to see that go out successfully and be able to actually use it, because it's really, you can build an orchestration in like 5 minutes. make sure you're getting the right data, make sure it's transforming, make sure the APIs are called properly, and yeah, you can use it right alongside all the other tools. So not surprised this came out to number one. A very highly anticipated feature, and yeah, congrats. Big congrats to Dan Mashinsky. I know he worked really hard on that. So
Dan, we love you, Dan.
we love you,
Oh my
Dan.
gosh.
Yeah, I definitely put my thumb on the scale on this one. I voted for the debugger. I mean, the speed in which it has sped up orchestration building is just I can't even put words into how much it speeds things up. The amount of log statements that I don't have to put in now, the amount of rebuilding
Yes.
and redeploying that I don't have to do now, the amount of digging through data in each individual step to make sure that the data and the response is actually getting to where it needs to go is amazing. Like, you can see not only just the run that you're clicking, but you can see all the runs that you've done before that. And then you can also input data into where you want it to kind of mock data into it in the debugger. It feels better than Postman, honestly. It's great.
Whoa. That's
Strong word, I know. Hot
wow.
take.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, you could get shirts for the whole team that say that. That's incredible. No, I can't wait to try it. It's one of those things that like I haven't gotten to play with it a ton because DevCon and stuff. But like I can't wait to get my mitts on that. You know, I've almost been around too long. I remember when Loops came out and that rocked our world. You know, so like it's just so cool getting to watch it. You're watching it grow up and like change the world. It's incredible.
It is.
I'm so glad we did this post and that we're doing this episode. I want to know, was there anything that we didn't touch on that you guys feel like deserves a shout before we start to wrap?
I don't think it's necessarily a particular feature for me. It's more like it felt like the Wild West last year of like all the announcements around all of our AI APIs and orchestrate stuff. And this year feels like we're already out west and we're starting to build our gold mines. So like
Nice.
in the Oregon Trail type of analogy here, like we've already caught dysentery and survived, and we made it out
We made it
west.
through. Yes.
And we're gonna have some really cool gold digging this year to build those agents and all that fun stuff that this year is
my
even
gosh.
gonna be even more fast and furious. So like
Yes.
that's my take on all the features of 2025.
I love
Yeah, I'm
it.
excited to see how all the acquisitions and the gold we get from them, we can also reap the benefits of with our tooling now that it's all Workday tooling. And
Heck
a
yeah.
lot of cool stuff that's up coming down the pike. So I'm excited to see how all of that shakes out and how we can leverage some of the cool stuff that other companies have done that we've acquired and see how we can run even faster than we did last year, to Tony's point.
Oh, amen. Shreya, how about you?
Yeah, I think to me it feels like we're just getting started. This is the beginning. I feel like the way that I see it, which could be a weird view, but like I feel like this is sort of the foundation we have. We have this amazing foundation, and now whatever we're gonna do to build on it is just gonna be amazing, especially with the acquisitions and everything we have. I'm so excited for this next year to see, how all that comes into play. And yeah, and it also makes me happy that, we're listening to the developers and we're really pushing out features that they really like and we're
Yes.
getting good feedback on it. That warms my heart for sure.
Oh, me too. I want them to know we hear them and we are them. And it's gonna get so much cooler. Like when we open up and you can have your own environment. It's gonna be like life changing for everybody. Big yes to like these acquired workmates, if you will. I got to say hi to Joel from Sauna in Barcelona. Seems like an incredible person with an incredible team. I messaged Todd from Pipedream this morning, just nerding out because I've been getting emails from Todd at Pipedream for years. And just to think that he's going to be working with the same folks that like made all these things possible. It's like, talk about like, okay, we were so excited we had orchestrate debugging, but like, what if we were able to fold in the Pipedream magic into the whole platform?
Yeah.
Like, we kind of have to throw out the playbook because we have a completely different team, a much stronger team. It's going to be a huge year for sure.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I think now is a good time for us to wrap it. I want to say a big thank you to EE for joining, Shreya for joining, Tony for joining. Folks, this has been Workday Dev Talk. We love to hear from you, so give us your feedback. Make sure to follow us at workday.com/podcasts or wherever fabulous podcasts may be found. Until next time, let's make it an awesome year. Happy building.
Ooh, thanks, guys.